A very good evening to all. So this video is regarding the analysis of AIMS 2020. So I've got some around 40 questions. So if you ask the students who have written the exam, around 400 to 700 students, their analysis of AIMS was easy to moderate. Okay. So this varies from each person. Okay, there's no argument in it. Let's move straight into the questions which was asked. Again, these questions, if you see here, these are not the exact questions which are asked in AIMS. These were all the questions which were given by the students to us. So we can just create a question based on that and we can answer. So what you should take from this is the keywords in the question. For example, although the image may not be given exactly like this, or the question may not be framed like this, but you have to understand the keywords in the question, the cervical maturation stages. So you have to understand that something related to cervical maturation stages was asked. Okay, fine. So I'll just quickly rush to all the 40 MCQs, and don't worry, I have a PDF of it. Just DM in my Instagram and I will just send you the PDF. So coming to the first question, if you see, there's an image based question on cervical maturation stages. So there are 6 stages depending upon the convexity of each of the stages. They have classified it, and stage 1 it is relatively flat. Stage 2 you can able to see a convexity on the second cervical vertebrae. So and in stage 3 you can able to see a convexities in your second and third, and in stage 4 you can able to see the convexity in all the 3 and they become rectangular. And in stage 5 it becomes more square, and in stage 6 it increases in length than the inferior border. Fine. So you can able to see that it increases in length. You can able to see here. So the length increases and the inferior border decreases here. Right. So this is what is happening in the stage 6. So this is one of the question. And if you come to the second question, it was the best result for a study. So if you look at the levels of evidence present here, there are level 1, which is your randomized systematic review and meta-analysis. As you can see here, systematic review and meta-analysis. And coming to level 2, it's going to be your randomized control trial. And level 3 is going to be randomized control trial. It is a control trial without randomization. Okay. And stage 4, it's evidence from well-designed case-controlled cohort studies. And case 5 is your systematic reviews of descriptive and qualitative studies. And stage level 6 is going to be your evidence from single descriptive or qualitative study. And level 7 it's going to be evidence from the opinion of authorities and or reports of expert communities. Right. Okay. Next, coming to the next question, it's a moderate to light pull Stokes is used in. Right. So if you look at Stokes, basically you have scaling Stokes, you have your route planning Stokes, you have your exploratory Stokes. Okay. So the scaling Stokes, it's sharp powerful pull Stoke, and route planning is moderate to light pull Stoke, and exploratory Stoke is light feeling Stoke. Okay. Now coming to the fourth MCQ, factor 8 is rich in. Factor 8, if you see, it's nothing but defect, is one of the coagulating factor, and the deficiency of your this leads to hemophilia A. So these are all the investigations which you see. You have your elevated activated partial thromboplastin time, and if you look at the cryoprecipitate is nothing but it is a protein that precipitates when your fresh frozen plasma is thawed at 4 degrees Celsius, and it is usually rich in your factor 8. And if you look at how much, its single unit contains 10 times the more factor 8 concentrate found in 10 ml of plasma. So coming to the next question, the 2-point contact of an instrument. So again, this exact options were not because O's and chisels both have 2-point contact, if I'm not wrong. So if you can give me the correct options, that will be good. So just remember that there is something related to endodontic instruments. Okay. So in erythroblastosis fetalis, what happens? Fine. So this is related to hemolytic jaundice. So I have made a video on jaundice part 1 and jaundice part 2 that will clear you all the doubts, and if you have any doubts you can watch that. So again these options were not that much satisfactory, so if you can give me correct options, that will be very good. And if you look at hemolytic jaundice, if you see, there is more amount of hemolysis, there is going to be more amount of unconjugated bilirubin, and there is going to be increased urinary urobilinogen. Fine. So the conjugated bilirubin is going to be very less, and as well as the urine bilirubin is going to be absent. Okay. Now coming to the 7th MCQ, which is the expected result in a research. So expected result in research, if you see, H0 is null hypothesis, is rejected when P of more than 0.5. No, it's accepted in fact. and again it is accepted, and an alternate hypothesis is rejected if p-value of 0.05. So this question you have to study carefully. This is expected result. Okay, so if you look at the fourth option, your null hypothesis is rejected when p of less than 0.05. I think this is the correct option, because if you look at the null hypothesis is nothing but it states that there is no significance between the two values what we take. For example, if I want to say that a is there is a difference between a and b, null hypothesis states that there is no difference between a and b, which means my study is not good. So this is the ideal result which we want to do when we do a research. So null hypothesis is rejected when the p-value of 0.05, which means my study is fluke only by 5%. 95% of the times my study is correct. Okay, now coming to Goldson yardstick index. So you can able to see it is for orthodontic treatment. So there's group 1 excellent, group 2 is good, and group 3 is fair, group 4 is poor, and group 5 is very poor. So there is a lot of indexes for this Goldson yardstick. So one of the indexes is your orthodontic treatment. Okay, and coming to the parts of an RPD. So the question was like parts of an RPD used to connect all parts together. So this is a minor connector. And pulp in parodontology. Parodontology is nothing but the pressure changes, right? So you have class 1, you have class 2, class 3, class 4. So class 1, if you see, there is an acute pulpitis, and class 2 is chronic pulpitis, class 3 is necrotic pulp, class 4 is apical periodontitis or apical cyst. So coming to the 11th MCQ, bone tapping. Bone tapping is usually done in dense bone. It's usually done in implants, and self-tapping implants are also available now. And coming to the 12th MCQ, mandible is what type of? It is a macroskeletal or microskeletal. So if you look at this flowchart, it will conclude everything. So basically your functional cranial component is divided into skeletal as well as functional matrices. Skeletal consists of microskeletal and macroskeletal, and inside the microskeletal you have your coronoid process. Inside the macroskeletal you have your mandible. So coming to the functional matrices, capsular matrice and periosteal matrice. Capsular matrice is orocapsule, and you can able to see the periosteal matrice in muscles. Okay, so next coming to the another MCQ, most commonly used slot size for pre-adjusted edgewise. Again, I'm not sure about this, but there was a question related to pre-adjusted edgewise appliances. And 2013 WHO used which index to study the periodontal health? The options was not that clear, so just imagine, just remember that there was question related to index in periodontal health. So the transcutaneous electric nerve stimulation, what does that mean? TENS is nothing but it is a therapy that uses low voltage electrical current to provide a pain relief, and it consists of a battery powered devices, and it is used for various conditions like osteoarthritis, fibromyalgia, bursitis, low back pain, chronic pelvic pain, diabetic neuropathy, peripheral artery disease. So all these were being used, and just have a look at this. This is a transcutaneous electric nerve stimulation. This is as in names. And maximum voxel size for CBCT, so it's going to be 0.4. So what is a voxel? Voxel is nothing but the smallest 3D element of the volume, and it is typically represented as a cube or a box, right? With height, width and length. So there are different voxel sizes depending upon the capabilities of each unit, right? So if you look at the smaller field of view units may use smaller voxel size of around 0.076, which enables visualization of very small changes. So you have other voxel sizes also like 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Okay, so another question was asked like 2017 WHO included which of the odontogenic tumor? Okay. So 2005 it was OKC. I think 2017 they have moved the keratocystic odontogenic tumor into a cystic category. That was one of the controversial things which has happened in 2017 classification. And another MCQ was ICCMS protocol, which is nothing but the caries management protocol. Just have a look at it. And dicumarine is nothing but it is an anticoagulant. So basically it inhibits vitamin K by competitive inhibition. So if you look here, so prothrombin precursor is converted to prothrombin, and your reduced vitamin K is activated, and what happens, your vitamin K epoxide reductase, vitamin K oxide reductase has to be taken place again to convert your oxidized vitamin K to a reduced vitamin K. So what happens, this blocks your vitamin K epoxide, this competitive inhibition takes place. Okay, so what happens in pulpal anesthesia of inferior nerve block? So if you look at the mean time of onset of pulpal anesthesia, it is 8.7, 7.4 and 7.7. Fine. So for 2% of lidocaine with 1:1 lakh epinephrine, 4% of articaine with 1:1 lakh epinephrine, and 4% of articaine with 1:2 lakh epinephrine. Fine. So pulpal anesthesia is longer duration of LA. So it's definitely bupivacaine. You have short duration, you have intermediate, you have longer duration. The longer duration you have bupivacaine hydrochloride, 0.5% plus epinephrine. And there was a question asked on casting restorations, like casting had external and internal irregularities due to. So the options were not that much clear, so I couldn't able to find the answer for it. And another coming to the 23rd, the most common failure of cast restorations. One of the most common reason is recurrent caries. Okay. So temporalis muscle belongs to which group of functional matrices here? Again, the same flowchart which we discussed. If you have a look at it, you can easily solve this question also. And irregularities in the outer and the inner surface of the casting. Right. So if you look at the casting defects may be because of distortion, surface roughness and irregularities, porosities, and incomplete or missing details. Okay. So growth of the nasal bone, and couldn't able to get two more options. So if you can find this answer, it will be very good. Growth of nasal bones is completed by. And occlusal stripling is done for which tooth? Non-anatomic, semi-anatomic, anatomic, or combination of semi and non. So I'll just discuss this answer and I will send it along with the PDF. And hormone with intracellular receptors. Right. So hormone with intracellular receptors, if you see, it's steroid hormones, vitamin D, and thyroid hormones. Okay. And related to COVID-19, there was a question on serum antibodies. Right. So I have made a video on COVID-19. You have a look at it, and just look if you can find the answer in that video. And another question was asked on beta titanium. So beta titanium, you just have a look at this, is more than enough. So it will have a good corrosion resistance, and modulus of elasticity is less than the stainless steel, and it's also called TMAOS, and it is ductile, and and hence loops and bends can be given. Fine. So which is the least biocompatible wire? Okay. And again, the options were incomplete. So if you can give the options, it will be very good. So first choice of indication of auto transplantation of an anterior teeth. So these were all the options that I received. So based on this, I think it's maxillary lateral incisor, which is the first preference of transplantation. So the crown width to height ratio of a maxillary central incisor is 0.8, and metastatic calcification is seen in all except. So this metastatic calcification was given in most of the questions are given in covered in our app, Amalgam PG app. So just have a look at it, and just given a tabular column for this. If you read this, is more than enough. And coming to the next question is radiolucency of silolith. Right. Again, percentage. There was not adequate percentage options that was given. So just remember that there was a question on percentage of radiolucency on siloliths. Okay. Most commonly your Wharton structure. So second order bends. This notes of second order bends was given beautifully in Amalgam PG group. So have a look at it. So all indicate of bell-shaped curve except, and this again. So because options was not that satisfactory. So just have a look at it. The bell-shaped curve. Just have a look at it. And juvenile periodontitis is a degenerative disease, and scaling around the implant is done with plastic instruments and initial colonizers of bacteria. We have given the color coding of the initial colonizers in our app, and I'll just add that also in this. So that sums up the questions which I have received from the students for the past 1.5 days or 2 days. So if you can recall any questions apart from this, just kindly post in the comment section or just DM me so that we can discuss in the upcoming sessions all the remaining questions. So thank you for watching this video. Hope this video was helpful, and share with your friends. Thank you.